My Dress Up Darling is one of those series that has taken the whole anime or manga scene by storm, and also one of the most unexpected ones. But with the anime being so good, I asked myself a question. Is the My Dress Up Darling manga better than the anime? Because realistically, nowadays we have some series that do way better because of the animation, such as Demon Slayer having the animation budget of the gods. Then you look at the manga and it just seems like a script. But first, just in case someone was living under a rock, this is a little synopsis. Gojou is a first-year high school student who dreams of becoming a Hina doll craftsman. One day during his first semester, his popular classmate Marin Kitagawa sees him making doll costumes in the school's home ec room. After spotting this, Marin asks Gojou to make her a cosplay, and this basically starts the journey to My Dress Up Darling. Now before anything starts, this video is divided into 4 sections. First is the anime section, second is the manga section, third is the comparison section, and fourth is the overall conclusion. So first, let's go to the anime. Now the anime literally does the manga justice in every way possible. Now knowing that this is animated by Cloverworks, I know for a fact that most of the budget went into this anime compared to the rest that they have for the rest of the year, but in my opinion it paid dividends. This anime generally stayed super faithful to the manga while also adding some amazing animation, and you can see the amazing animation in the whole budget that went into the boobs team. Why did I say that joke? That's not even funny. That's not even funny. But all jokes aside, the visuals when the cosplays are usually done are absolutely beautiful. For example, I love the movement and the details that the animators decided to add to what the manga already had, because the drawing in the manga is absolutely beautiful, but watching it in anime and it actually moving and having actual movement within each little detail in the cosplay is absolutely beautiful. And speaking of the characters, the character development of each character is absolutely amazing. Now again, it's not that far into the manga yet, but you can slightly see bits and pieces of Gojou's growth as a person thanks to Marin, and basically because he got into the cosplay world. And this is also highlighted by the voice actors that are working on My Dress Up Darling. The fact that they're able to show the slight emotion so perfectly in each scene generally makes this a lot more enjoyable. And talking about voice actors, the dub is incredibly good. I'm a person that usually either watches the anime in sub or never watches it ever. Basically, I'm a dub hater. But My Dress Up Darling's dub is the only one that I was actually interested because I saw that a VTuber was actually voicing Marin. And I thought, this is interesting. I ended up rewatching most of the anime in dub, and it actually gave me the same feeling that I had with the sub version. And I can honestly say that was one of the best dubs that I've listened to. Again, the amount of dub that I've listened to is kind of limited, but it's pretty damn good. Now, overall, if you're watching the anime and don't plan on reading the manga, you're not going to be missing out in any way. Most of the things that are cut out because it makes the pacing just a little bit better for the anime. And honestly, the director has been doing an amazing job in the scenes that or the phrases that he cuts out, because he has been cutting out some part of explanations of how the cosplay works. And honestly, the whole team that has been working on My Dress Up Darling honestly did an amazing job on this. So now let's get to the manga, which is my favorite part. Now first, let me talk about the art. The paneling is amazing. I mean, I don't need to say anything. And the art isn't like a Demon Slayer situation where the art isn't that impressive, but the anime is absolutely amazing. It isn't that situation, because the art is honestly fantastic. You can especially see this in the cosplay scenes. With every single cosplay, there's so much detail to each cosplay, especially the first one where you see the most detail within the dress. Talking about cosplay, the amount of research that went into this series is absolutely fantastic. Now, I personally never cosplayed in my life. I don't know anything about cosplay, and I'm not gonna pass it off as I do. But unironically, I've learned so much about this manga when it comes to location hunting, photography, what goes into a cosplay in general, and also events. It's generally very interesting to me to read this manga because I generally learned a lot from it. Now again, the mangaka might be completely wrong, but again, from a person that has never been into cosplay, this is pretty damn good as far as research. Now to some people, the fan service is the thing they enjoy the most about the series, but I honestly enjoy how every single character's personality and basically everybody interacts with each other. And I don't mean just Marin and Gojou, I mean Juju, her little sister, Marin's group of friends, their classmates, because actually the classmates later on play a pretty important role in Gojou's growth as a person. And it's honestly really cool to see these characters interact with each other, because realistically most of them have pretty lovable characters. Let's go through the chapters, but first I want to show all the chapters that generally just teach you about the cosplay world. Chapter 6, Chapter 10, Chapter 11, Chapter 12, Chapter 13, Chapter 15, Chapter 20, Chapter 21, Chapter 25, Chapter 27. I could keep going, but the point is there's a lot of teaching in this series. And again, I need to emphasize this. This series is probably one of the most researched by the mangaka, which generally makes the story feel as if you get something out of it, apart from a pretty entertaining story. Now, the backstories of every character is also very entertaining, especially Gojou's, because we don't get the whole backstory in one panel or one page, but we get it throughout a series of pages. For example, Chapter 22, in my opinion, is probably the most important and also entertaining chapter in this series. And that whole chapter is basically a bunch of backstories, but you get to learn a lot by each character. Juju's backstory is also very interesting, and her little sisters as well. And these backstories makes you appreciate every single character more. Now, Juju, you barely see her throughout the series. I think they're just now bringing her back in Chapter 70 something for a coffin party, which I still don't know what it is because it still hasn't happened. But the few moments that you see Juju is generally very entertaining. And Juju, as weirdly as she got introduced, is still one of the most entertaining characters. And I love the references that the mangaka puts into the series, such as in chapter 45, he has a Haruhi Suzumiya reference, which I absolutely love that. And also in chapter 34, after Marin reads a whole long ass title, Gojou asks, is all that in the title? Which is very ironic when every single isekai has a title that's at least one sentence long. Now, Gojou being our main character throughout the whole series, you see him opening up more and more. This is mostly shown in the cultural festival arc, which is near the end of the current manga that we have now. Now, yes, this series is framed as a super fan servicey, super cutesy, super diabetic romance slice of life. Partially, you're right, but I think the fan service really overshadows what the story actually has. Because realistically, throughout the whole series, you don't really get that many fan service scenes. It's just that most of the fans of the series decide to post said fan service scenes. Now, someone that initially got dismissed as a pretty boring character was the grandpa. And honestly, throughout the series, the more and more I read, I generally appreciate the grandpa even more because he's generally one of the best characters to read about because he either gives pretty damn good advice, some pretty good comical relief as well. So overall, I think the grandpa is one of the best characters in the series. And the thing is, this series generally has so many good characters that it's generally hard to pick which is the best because this whole cast of characters is likable in one way or another. Now, in my opinion, Himeno's background story is absolutely the best of the whole series. Now, yes, boohoo, the guy that got bullied for liking anime relates to the person that got bullied into cosplay. Look, Himeno's backstory, in my opinion, is one of the best because what started as a simple hobby for him and his sister ended up being the hobby that gives him the most self-confidence, and it generally makes it, for lack of a better word, enjoyable to read about this character because the backstory just hooks you to Himeno. Now, I don't want to spoil too much and go through the whole series because again, this just recently blew up. So now let's get to the comparison. You basically see Gojou pretty lonely in the corner of a room, which is pretty tropey. But in the manga, I generally felt his loneliness. Like, I generally felt bad for this character. And I don't know if it's because I have an easier time connecting to the manga's characters rather than the anime characters, or because the anime just had a more upbeat, happier tone due to the fact that they added the scene of Gojou walking to school and some guy just starts talking to him because he confused him for somebody else. Now, in my opinion, the anime cut the right corners they had to cut because some of the explanations within the manga can be pretty overextended if you put it in the anime format. Now, do I feel those explanations should be added? Yes, but slightly no. Now, yes, you're gonna learn a lot because of these explanations, but at the same time, I feel like the director did an amazing job cutting these up simply because this is something people would skip or just not care about. And it overall made the pacing of the anime much better. So now for my overall opinion, is the manga really better than the anime? Now, I think both are great in their respective route, but then again, this might make me sound like a little bit of an elitist. I personally prefer the manga simply because of the pacing and the fact that it teaches me a lot more than the anime has been doing. Now, yes, the anime once in a while includes these explanation scenes, but don't really get deep enough to truly understand the concept. But then again, this is just up to personal opinion because honestly, I generally think both are absolutely amazing. Just the manga is a little bit better to me. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Let me know what you guys think about My Dress Up Darling. Are you guys loving it? Are you guys not? Is it too much fan service for you? And yeah, deuces.